Ever wanted to break out of your cubicle and into a business where you can call the shots? iFix is looking for passionate self-starters interested in a franchise opportunity in the booming electronics repair industry. At iFix, we help reconnect people to the devices that they rely on so that they can get back to what matters most. This is a big responsibility, and from the moment you join our family, our franchisees are provided with the resources and support to bring affordable and convenient electronics repair to your community. Did we mention that with amazing partners like Samsung and Google, iFix franchisees also have access to the highest quality parts and personalized training out there, as well as specialized tools? It's true. And it's also easy to visit ubreakifix.com/franchising and learn more about your big break at your very own iFix. Ever wanted to break out of your cubicle and into a business where you can call the shots? iFix is looking for passionate self-starters interested in a franchise opportunity in the booming electronics repair industry. At iFix, we help reconnect people to the devices that they rely on so that they can get back to what matters most. This is a big responsibility, and from the moment you join our family, our franchisees are provided with the resources and support to bring affordable and convenient electronics repair to your community. Did we mention that with amazing partners like Samsung and Google, iFix franchisees also have access to the highest quality parts and personalized training out there, as well as specialized tools? It's true. And it's also easy to visit ubreakifix.com/franchising and learn more about your big break at your very own iFix.
Hi, welcome to Season 2 of Bite. This is Tony Tellado.
And so parenting in an apocalypse, it's not the same way that we would do it, you know.
You know how it works. Interviews are usually 2 to 4 minutes long, but sometimes they can be a little longer.
Tony, when you live long enough, all kinds of strange things happen.
You're very right in saying that the Greek heroes were the original superheroes.
In part because of the hopeful nature of Gene's vision, but also because of its message of diversity and inclusion.
There's a new movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, and here is the film's director, Adam Wingard.
As soon as I started talking to Legendary about the potential of making this film, I went back and I rewatched every single Godzilla movie in order from start to finish, which was definitely something I'd never done before. And I did the same thing with all the King Kong films. And it was really interesting because watching the original Godzilla films, it was almost like re-experiencing my childhood to a certain degree, because a lot of them I hadn't seen since maybe I was in like second grade, especially the early Showa era ones. And so the process was just really unique in the sense that, you know, I was able to reinvigorate myself as a filmmaker and as a person, you know, in a way where I was able to kind of almost trace back the origins of what made me excited about movies in general.
Millie Bobby Brown returns as Madison Russell.
My character was very young and childlike in King of the Monsters, you know, kind of a follower. And then this movie, she's definitely becoming a leader and she's becoming a young woman. So it's definitely a coming-of-age story for her, learning how to become a woman and following her mother's footsteps, but in the right way. And, you know, she shares a lot of her mother's traits, as if like, you know, as in like direct and forwardness and stern and very, you know, serious when it comes to things and pretty abrupt. But then she also has her dad's side where she's like pretty like what do you call it, paranoid at times, and like, you know, because her dad's really quite, I feel like, quite paranoid and just like, you know, and scared of danger, and her mum's pretty like throws herself into danger. So she has both of those aspects, which I think really is nice because it has a cool effect to it.
Also in the cast, Brian Tyree Henry.
I play Bernie Hayes, who I hold very near and dear to my heart because he is an ex-Apex engineer. He has suffered a bit of loss. You know, he lost his wife unexpectedly, who was also an engineer at Apex. And, you know, he has, by being on the inside of this industry, he started to realize all the kind of, you know, wheelings and dealings that go on with Apex. It's not just so much about what they produce, but what they hide as well from the average human being. So he's started to create his own conspiracy theories about what's going on in the world. I mean, like he's very much a person who doesn't take things at face value. And I think he's a champion for mankind. You know, there's something, his heart is so big. He's so lovable, but at the same time, everyone looks at him as a crackpot. You know, everyone thinks that he's a little bit kooky. Everybody thinks that he's a little bit not right. You know, that cousin you have in your family, like, he can't get right. So that's like kind of like what people like kind of think about Bernie a little bit. But honestly, he never moves through life without his intentions being the purest. You know, he really wants to be the champion and not so much the savior, but he really wants to do what's right.
Isa Gonzalez plays Maya Simmons.
She's behind Apex, and she works directly with one of the characters who was played by Damien Vichier. And throughout the film, we discover her real intentions, truly. And I think that what I loved about this character, first and foremost, it was cool to see a woman behind a company on this level, and obviously being a Latina woman, it's hard to find roles that are not stereotypical or pin you into a stereotype. And it was really empowering to see that someone with such energy and such presence and such force was this woman that kind of was running this complete company within, on the boat with the character of Nathan and Dr. Andrews. And so I found it fascinating, and I think that it's basically when you get caught up in a situation where it's humanity versus our personal agenda, that what would you choose? And I think that it's in those moments that we really discover people's personalities. That at the end of the day, this movie shows family values, human interaction in scrutinizing circumstances. It really puts our morality at test. And in this story, you see every character being slightly compromised and having to make decisions. And even though it's based on Godzilla and Kong, you feel for the character. You feel so much. You care in this film.
And Rebecca Hall is Eileen Andrews.
I found it really interesting that a lot of the King Kong films, there's this dynamic of he sort of falls in love with you know, a beautiful lady and wants to save her, and that's the kind of thrust of the film. You know, often a blonde, beautiful lady. And there's a sort of, you know, I find that this one was really interesting because the person that Kong has the most intimate relationship with is a child and a deaf girl. And you know, when I found out that they had someone who was legally deaf, Kaylee, playing the part, I thought that was really interesting and valid, and I was like, yeah, right on, actually, for doing that. And then I realized that the character they wanted me to play was a sort of Jane Goodall-ish type of figure, but for King Kong, which I thought was pretty interesting. I thought this was a kind of iteration of this movie where the women there was something different, and you know, I like that about it.
The producer is Alex Garcia.
So Godzilla vs. Kong is the first time Kong in the MonsterVerse timeline leaves Skull Island. And when he does so, he upsets that natural balance that Godzilla is the primary force within. So, and in the movie, you'll see that there's an exploration of the history of both of these creatures deep in the deep primordial past. But in current day, when Kong leaves the island, they are fated to collide. Godzilla is not going to let another force that could challenge him exist without a fight.
And we got to give director Adam Wingard the last word.
I mean, I think that the movie in itself is, it's so many different things all in one kind of cohesive package. It's a futuristic sci-fi fantasy film with the biggest fight scenes of all time. It's got a little bit of everything to be excited about. It's hard to kind of like narrow it down. It's not as simple as just saying like, I think this person or this monster should win versus this one for this reason or whatever, and taking out my biases of who I thought should win going into it. At the end of the day, we had to kind of set that aside and say, okay, let's look at these two monsters objectively with all the skills that they have individually, and what actually happens when you put them together and they fight. What does that actually look like? And who would actually win? And at the end of the day, it's really the most important thing, even beyond who was the winner, to me going into it, is that there absolutely had to be a winner. This is not another movie that you can, a versus movie, where you should walk away still asking the question, who won? This has to be the definitive answer to the question, who wins, Godzilla or Kong? And so, my biases aside, I honestly can't say that I like one more than the other, because I love them both the same in completely different ways.
Godzilla vs. Kong is in theaters and also on HBO Max. Special thanks to Warner Brothers for supplying the audio we just heard. For Byte, this is Tony Tellado.
Now is the chance to use reliable energy to grow your money with the Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. Our new investment product offers competitive returns, no maintenance fees, and flexible online access to your money. Make the reliable investment in reliable energy. The Dominion Energy Reliability Investment. To find out more, go online to reliabilityinvestment.com. That's reliabilityinvestment.com.
Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy killed 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.